Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me once again. You are always most welcome. Well, today, something a bit different. It's from ICM, it's their latest release, and it's basically one of their sort of combo sets, you might say. Kaiser's Steel Fists from World War One. So it's basically, it comes also with the ICM acrylics paint set, the Hochsee Flotte or Hochsee Flotte. I'm not an expert on these ships, I have to say. I'll leave that to others. But yes, this is basically 4 of the big German dreadnoughts from World War One, and it's going to be quite interesting for me because I've never seen them before, although they have been available, I think, separately previously. So we'll talk about the rather nice paint set first, which is a matching set and goes absolutely hand in hand with these here, and you can see that by the artwork being the same. The Hochsee Flotte, Hochsee Flotte, World War One Imperial German Navy. I think most, if not all, of these were actually scuttled at Scapa Flow after the war in the famous incident there. But in terms of these colours, we've got matte red, or whole red, dark sea grey, light earth, deep brown, and black primer. And sky grey and black primer. And you can see on the back an illustration of how you would use those colours in each respective sort of position on the ship. Quick idea of what they're like on the side. It doesn't come with a clear coat. Sorry, I beg your pardon, it comes with a primer. So it's got a primer as well. I didn't mention that on the front, it didn't, did it? That's interesting. Black primer, yeah, it's just I didn't read it correctly. It's black primer. Nice, a nice set indeed, and retails under £20 that set. We'll put that to one side and we'll have a look at the main kit, and I'll put my lights on for a little bit more illumination. This is my first review since we had our 10,000 subscribers party. I've just about sobered up. Anyway, thank you to everybody who joined in, and if you watched the show, if you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth watching. Some quite amusing greatest hits on it. But anyway, we're back to the serious stuff now. So, kit number S.021 is the ICM kit number, and it says on the side, the set includes 4 models of German dreadnoughts from World War One. These ships served in the 3rd Battle Squadron of the German High Seas Fleet, the Hochsee Flotte. The models feature detailed reproductions of hulls, superstructures, decks and gun turrets. Each ship can be built in either waterline or full hull configuration. That's quite interesting, isn't it? The set comes with display stands for all 4 dreadnoughts, and the length is 200. So we've got four ships, 252 millimeters length, and 214 parts for the Koenig. 252 millimeters again, 241 parts for the Großer Kurfürst. 240 parts and 252 again for the battleship Crown Prince, and then finally 214 parts and again same length for the battleship Markgraf. Right, now then, on the side, the said ships I've just named. I'm going to zoom you for this. The said ships that have just been named, you can see. So we start off there with the Koenig, and then underneath we've got the Crown Prince. And these are these typical German dreadnoughts. So it's basically 4 kits, pretty much the same kit, I suspect. But they had this 5 turret design which the Germans developed to try and match, and they got 12-inch guns. So you got 12-inch guns, 10 of them. It's quite a lot of guns to be firing 10 12-inch rounds at one go. A hell of a broadside, I suspect that was. So anyway, there we go. Over here we've got the other 2, the Großer Kurfürst from 1915 and the Markgraf from 1915 also. But as I say, I think I'm right in saying some of the experts amongst you will know better than I, but I think they were in a couple of smaller engagements, but I'm not an expert on the subject historically, but I know that they ended up, most of them, being scuttled at Scapa Flow after the war, so the Germans didn't want the British Royal Navy to inherit their dreadnoughts. Quite an infamous incident. And Scapa Flow still got quite a few of these at the bottom. Some were actually recovered, but quite a few of them remain at the bottom, and there is plenty of footage if you go on YouTube where you can see videos that people have done of them diving the wrecks and all this kind of thing. At least, you know, there weren't a lot of people on them at the time. It's doing a good thing, I suppose. Right, so big box. I mean, in some respects, we're going to have really. Oh, okay, we've got even more tape. Oh, no. And as I said, we've got 4 models here that are the same kit, basically. Oh, look at this. Oh, we've got some coloured plastic. This is like Matchbox. Are they all actually the same then? I suspect they probably are. No, I forgot to mention they're 700 scale, aren't they? Yeah, 700 scale. So in actual fact, what we get is we get 4 of. Yeah, I'm right. 4 of the same kit in effect. You get 4 in one box. So what I'll do then is just, that keeps things simple, we'll take one out and we'll take it from there, I think. That'll make it a little bit more manageable for us, and make it a bit shorter review than I thought it was going to be. Right, okay, so I'll just get the plastic out first, and I wasn't expecting coloured plastic. It's quite interesting. I do like the coloured plastic, being a Matchbox fan, obviously. Okay. I think the idea is it's the colour. I think the red. I'll get into that in a second anyway. But I think the red coloured plastic is for the flat hull version. Right, now then, obviously I'm suspecting that it's quite a big instruction book, so I'm suspecting there are some subtle differences between them. Yeah, here we go. Okay, there's actually 4 of them. Yeah, okay, so there's 4. Are there any differences? Really? Or are they really just the same? Just bear with me on this, because this needs to be clarified, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just 4 lots of the same, really, with the different markings, obviously. So we'll just concentrate on one then. Again, that keeps it a bit simpler. So we'll go with the Koenig from Prince. Yeah, they are pretty much all the same kit. It's quite strange that they decided to go with 4. Anyway, we will see what we've got. Right, first of all, the write-up. It says here, the battleship Koenig belonged to the number of the most illustrious ships of Kaiser, German Navy of World War I period. Koenig, or King, was laid down at the Imperial Shipyards at Wilhelmshaven on the 3rd of the 10th, 1911. There was a lot of dreadnoughts going on. Obviously, when we had the HMS Dreadnought, the first one, I think the Germans decided, they saw that we got these big gun ships with the multiple turrets and big guns, and thought that they needed the same, and this was the answer to it, of course. Battleships of the Koenig type, okay, so this is the type, so I got the right one, were mighty vessels, excellently geared for North Sea conditions. The 4 sister ships formed the 3rd squadron of the open sea or Hochsee Flotte, High Seas Fleet. Koenig became the flagship of Rear Admiral Benker. The 3rd squadron of battleships took part in all battle operations of open sea navy after World War I had started. One of the sorties caused the Battle of Jutland of May 31st to June the 1st in 1916, the greatest and most fierce sea battle of World War I, off the coast of Denmark, of course. British battleships Warspite, Valiant and Malaya were severely damaged. Koenig took part in the Moonsund operation in the Baltic Sea against the Russian Navy in September to October 1917. After the armistice was signed, the German Navy was interned by alliances at Scapa Flow near Scotland, where almost all the vessels, including all 4 of the Koenig's sister ships, were scuttled by their crews on the 21st of June 1919, the summer following the end of the war. Gosh, there we go. So I'm right to just pick out one then, because they are all the same. Displacement in tons, 28,600 tons. Not as much as I thought it might be, actually. That sounds reasonable, but anyway. Length 175 metres, a beam of 29.5 metres, it's quite wide. Depth 9.1 metres, power plant in brake horsepower, 46,200 brake horsepower. Wow, well, it's not brake horsepower, it's horsepower. Maximum speed 21.3 knots, not slow for a huge ship at that weight, you know. Armour belt up to 350 millimetres, deck 60 to 100 millimetres, turrets up to 300 millimetres, conning tower 300 millimetres, quite a lot of armour. And then armament, 10 305 or 12-inch guns, 50 150 millimetre guns, so that's 6-inch guns, small ones, Look, these are the ones along the side. And then there are 4 88mm, and then there are 45 anti-aircraft guns, which are 500mm. 500mm? I think that's 50mm. I've got that wrong, it's just a mistypo. 50mm. Right, there you go. Okay, so let's zoom you in. Let's zoom you in. This is actually not going to be quite the behemoth of a review that I thought it was going to be, because they are 4 of the same ship. Let's have a look at these decals. And we've got the German Imperial Navy decals here. So, what have we got? There we are. Not a lot really, it's mainly just the flags, to be honest, German Navy. Obviously this is World War I, so it's pre-Nazi era. And yeah, fairly simple flags, German crosses, which go on the flags, and I think on one of the masts it flies a flag at the front, flies a flag at the back, I think. I'm right in saying that. Very impressive. So there we go, that's the decals. I will just zoom you back slightly for this, and we'll have a look at these instructions. See what we got. So, well, there's some more. Oh right, this is, oh okay, one thing I missed. There is also, because it said that it has a stand, and this is the decal. Is it a decal or is it a sticker? Is it a self-adhesive? It's actually a self-adhesive sticker that goes on the stand, traditional self-adhesive for the Koenigs. That's good. Then we have here. We have got our sprue map, and yes, there's going to be lots of guns and lots of parts that I probably don't know the name of, because I'm not the greatest naval stroke marine model expert, or ship modeller with a P as I often call it. So there you go, you're going to use everything anyway, and we start with the hull. So there's 2 options here. You can have a flat waterline model, or you can have a full hull. So it starts off showing you the full hull version, complete with the propeller screws there and your rudders. It's got quite a simple looking keel, I have to say. Then we have got the option, the second option, where you've got the main sort of sides of the ship, the side of the hull, so to speak, the upper hull. And then you've got the option here: are you going to have the full hull, or do you want the waterline type model, where it's going to be up to its waterline, and we know that piece is red, don't we? Then we've got building up the upper deck, complete with all these guns, which are mainly, I think, the anti-aircraft guns down the side. And then you've got sort of an overlaying design here, where you've got a front and rear deck. It's almost like a laminate, because it steps up, of course, from lower at the back, the poop deck, or whatever they call it. Forgive me for not knowing all the nautical terms. And at the front, obviously, it has a step up for better visibility for the, because obviously they want the best visibility at the front for the conning tower and the bridge, etc. And then you're going to put again, you've got the option that you're going to put it onto either option, either the waterline version or the main full hull version. Then we get to the details. So then we've got our 12-inch guns to build up and turrets here, including putting in all they actually rotate. So you've got the actual guns which you're going to pivot. The turrets themselves rotate, and then you're going to place them all in on the deck like so. It's amazing it has these guns right in the middle, isn't it? It's quite unusual. I'm not sure if, I don't know if any of the British ones did that too. I think 1 or 2 did in that era. Here we've got the main superstructure here, onto which you'll ultimately get your all of the control rooms and the bridge, etc., going onto the main deck there. Then we've got our main funnel coming in here. In fact, there are two funnels, main funnel and front and rear funnel, complete with the sort of smoke filters at the top. It's like a diffuser, isn't it? I think the idea is it's supposed to diffuse the signature, so it's perhaps less easy to see from a distance. And then those 2 funnels go in there. Then you got a little bit of like a lookout post that goes just below and in front of it. Observation deck, so to speak. And then we've got all these other small parts coming in, some stairways and little ladders, access ladders. And then here we've got our searchlight decks coming in, quite important on these ships, obviously, for very high intensity searchlights for picking out enemy ships on the horizon. And then we've got what looks like a signalling bar, is that? Signaling, flag signalling. And a light bar for communicating with other ships. Aerials coming in, radio aerial, and our main mast going in there, complete with looks like is that a crow's nest? Does it have a crow's nest? I think it does. No, it's not a crow's nest. It's some sort of looks like it's a little radar actually. Well, it couldn't have been a radar. It must be a radio antenna. They didn't have radar in the First World War. And then we've got just a couple of the final the anchors going in here. A couple of stepways that goes from the lower to the upper decks, and then over on this side more anchors on the opposite side. It's got twin anchors on both sides, by the look of it. All your lifeboats are going in here for the lifeboat deck near the rear, centre and rear, and then placing them all the way down the deck here, down the sides. And then finally, if you're having the full hull version, you've got your stand, which you build up and then obviously put your little, got like nameplates onto which you put your self-adhesive nameplate, and then you mount it, which will look really nice mounted on the stand, I think. Or if you prefer, that's the finished ship. Or if you prefer, you've got the waterline version where it just sits on the waterline effect. And there you have it. So there we go. So that's that is the Koenig class of German dreadnought of the Imperial German Navy World War I. Very nice, isn't it? Very nice. I'm quite impressed with that. It's certainly not overly complicated. It's a fairly small scale, of course. I've made so few. Literally, I can count on one hand the number of ships I've made, kit ships, models of ships. So I don't profess to be a great leading expert in this field. I know that all the friends, like people like Jason at Model Kit Stuff, he's really into his ships. He knows all about it, and many of his subscribers are big into this hot part of the hobby. So any errors I make, you'll have to forgive me. So, this is not one of my areas of specialty, but it's something interesting to look at for a change, isn't it? So let's zoom in. So this is your waterline hull, so to speak. This is going to be the waterline hull, the red bit that's going to sit on as the flat base onto which your main deck is going to sit, complete with its the exits there for the main prop shafts. Which I don't think, you obviously won't use those if you're going to use this, so those two are not actually compatible, which is slightly strange. You will however use the main hull, which is here. It's quite a sort of aquadynamic looking hull actually, in fairness. I was saying about the keel being a bit sort of a bit less than I was imagining, but I suppose it's built for speed, this one. They don't want anything that's too draggy in the water, do they? And of course your props exit here, your main prop shafts come out here, and then your rudders mount right at the back there. Nice, isn't it? It's quite nicely moulded. I've never seen one of these from ICM before, so it's my first ICM ship. There's a bit of a seam line here, but it's, well, you never ever see that, I suppose it's not really a problem there. So I won't worry about that too much. Then we've got the decks, the front and rear deck. Or forward and aft, the stern or the bow. See, I'm getting into these nautical terms slowly. I've been watching one or two YouTube videos lately. I was just watching one about the War Spy the other day, and previously watched a couple about HMS Victory, but I digress. But no, they've moulded these very nicely actually. There's quite good detail here. I don't know if you can pick this out. That's quite nice, isn't it actually? And they've got the sort of grading of the planking on the deck there, detail, which is quite good at this scale as well. So I think they've done that pretty well. It's quite nice. Then we actually have two identical sprues then, so we'll just look at one of them. And these are going to be all of your guns. So you've got your 12-inch guns, and here are the barrels here, all your gun barrels. And you've got also your physical turrets. We've got our little lifeboats here. Oh yeah, there we go. Lifeboats moulded. Those are quite nicely done actually. Those are nice. Whether that planking across underneath is to scale, I'm not sure. The cross members, I'm not sure. Look perhaps a bit over scale, but I don't know. As I say, I'm not the expert in this field, but there's some obviously some very small lifeboats as well. Look at those. Those are tiny. Perhaps they have like an officer's lifeboat as well. And then you've got your sort of turret mounting rings here. Yeah, it looks nice. Look at the anchor. I mean, they've got pretty fine detail at this scale. They've got that moulding rather nice, haven't they? That's very finely done, isn't it? Cool. Yeah, I like that. So there's two of those, and then we've got the sort of business end of the ship where we've got the actual we've actually got the sides of the main sides of the hull where the armour plating belt is here. And of course we've got all our superstructure for the main superstructure that obviously mounts up ultimately to the bridge and the viewing decks, etc. Yeah, the moulding is really nice. There's no flash, and there's some tiny parts here. I mean, look at those. Those are very fine. Nice moulding here. Very good. I'd say that's probably better than Dragon. I've certainly got a Dragon ship kit. I've got the Invincible. This is right up there in terms of quality. Is that a bit bent? No, maybe that's just a very soft piece. It's just perhaps got bent in transit. And then you've got your main mast, I think it is there in the middle. And yeah, all the various structures that build up the sort of the business end of the top of the deck, including your funnels, which are there, of course. Two sides of the funnel there, two sides of the funnel there. Very nice. Yeah, I quite like it. The moulding is really nice. It's super fine. It's super good. Look at this. This is some of the smaller guns now. And again, there's no flash here, not that I can see. Absolutely brilliant. There's got another one of the funnels there. In fact, I'm thinking that that is the funnel, not that second one I just showed you in the previous sprue. I think that's something else. I think that's part of the superstructure. And then here we've got a bit of superstructure that just goes underneath the bridge. And again, some very fine moulding. These guns, very tiny pieces. You have to be careful. Bit fiddly, isn't it? That's the only downside to this kit, I suppose. And then last but not least, we have got a rather nice stand to put your ship on, complete with the nameplates here, onto which you put those self-adhesive name badge for every one of the ships. Now, every one of the ships, as I mentioned, each one of these is the same ship, so everything is just replicated a total of 4 times. So what you basically get is everything I've just shown you. You get 4 of. As per, oops, I'll just reach back for the box. As per the big box full of 3 more of them in there. So what do we think? I've got to say, I'm quite impressed with that. That's actually, in terms of the quality of the tooling, the moulding, it's really crisp. You know, you've got the decking, planking, and all that detail, which I didn't expect at this scale, to be honest. I don't know if that's typical or not, because I say I'm not an expert in this field, but better than I was expecting. And so many tiny parts. Of course, the cleanness of the tool is absolutely critical, and they've definitely nailed it on that. So yeah, how accurate it is, and I don't know if there's any sort of shit rivet counters, or experts, I should say, just to be disrespectful. But experts in the field, if you see any obvious problems, I certainly don't. I certainly don't see any problems with it at all. I'm actually quite taken aback by it, to be honest. It's genuinely exceeded my expectations, the kit has. Why they decided to go with 4 of them is the only thing I find slightly puzzling. It's not a criticism at all. Just wonder why they chose 4 and not 3 or 5. Obviously, these are possibly the most well known of these ships. So I guess they felt that. They obviously felt that was appropriate. But I am most impressed. You get one complete instruction book for every one of those, even though they're all identical inside, apart from the name, of course. So whether there is some, it's actually falling out on me. Just put that back in there. Just bear with me a second. Whether there's some added detailing that the expert modelers amongst you could add, you know, specific details like particular battle damage from a particular engagement, for example, from some well-known interaction with the Royal Navy, for example. I don't know, but it's certainly got a lot going for it. If you are a naval modeller and you like First World War subjects, this is the kit for you, I would suggest. Now it's retailing, I didn't actually double check before I came on the air, but I think it's retailing for about the £65 mark, if I'm not mistaken, £65, £70, thereabouts. Again, you can't take that as read because they will absolutely vary in the UK, certainly. We seem to get huge variances, and especially within a couple of weeks of release, they often seem to get cheaper and cheaper. So sometimes it pays to be a little bit patient. There we go. I'm just thinking of anything I can say against it, really. I didn't see anything that was a flaw or confusing. The instructions were simple and straightforward. I'm going to give it 10 out of 10. Just can't see any reason not to. You can get that lovely paint set to go with it, so you've got all the proper paints. And I say, if you're an expert, you can, or if you do your research and become an expert, you can probably do quite a bit of fettling and do a little bit of battle damage here and there, little marks on them, perhaps from previous engagements where they've been repaired, that kind of thing. Because clearly, after the Battle of Jutland, there will certainly be some bits of damage on a few of them, I suspect, here and there, you know. So there we go. Yeah, quite surprised. It's the first time I've done a ship review, apart from the HMS Invincible. Certainly the first from ICM, so I'm quite taken aback by how good it was, actually. The only thing that I think might be tricky on this is rigging, because there's obviously quite, you see in the artwork, there's a lot of rigging, and I suspect the more expert models amongst you will want to do that. I'd probably shy away from that, to be honest. But, you know, it's just the scale, isn't it? But I don't know what the form is, whether people do that at 700th scale normally or not. So, over to you. I'll be interested to see what you say in the comments. What do you think? Are you as impressed as I am? Yeah. My only query with it would be, I'm not sure what they did for. It's just, yeah, a lot of, I suspect it's a good way of getting yourself a diorama together. If you wanted to do a sort of a Jutland battle scene, especially if you do them in the waterline style, then frankly you can knock yourself out and probably save yourself quite a few pounds. So I'm very impressed with that. Thank you to ICM for providing the kit. Yes, definitely exceeded the expectations, that one. I was a bit, not sure that's my cup of tea. I don't know. I knew it wasn't brand new to us. I thought, oh, is it going to be, you know. But no, it looks absolutely knockout. The actual moulding's beautiful. Thanks to ICM. 10 out of 10 from me. Hope you give me 10 out of 10 with a thumbs up, a like. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We've got 10,000 subscribers now. Not enough. We want more. Always. But if you are a subscriber, don't forget to make sure you ding the notification bell. And if you're not getting any notifications, make sure you re-ding it. Maybe you can unnotify and notify again, just to make sure it's working. And there we go. That's it for now. I hope to be back with you soon. Until next time, thanks for watching. Stay well, stay safe. Until next time, thanks a lot, and bye for now.